Mrs. Donna, last year, it's my understanding that you released 19,723 illegal aliens with criminal records. 19,723. That's the number I've been given. 19,723.
That number is correct by, remember, court order or some discretion.
And these are illegal aliens with criminal records such as kidnapping, sexual assault, DUI, and homicide.
That's correct.
You say that somewhat matter-of-factly as if it's okay.
Well, it's not okay, but that's what the statute tells me, sir. It tells me we need to that we need to abide.
You know, it's just unbelievable to me that we have released 19,723 illegal aliens with criminal records such as kidnapping, sexual assault, DUI, and homicide. It's appalling. No wonder America's in an uproar right now.
It is appalling.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I really appreciate it. I really didn't expect things to be as far as they are already, but I'm thankful for the love, the support, the shares, the likes, the comments, everything. Just keep supporting, keep sharing, keep telling the people about us. You know, that's all we can do. Today's episode, we're going to talk about what it's like to be in America in 2026. This year came fast. Seems like time's going faster and faster each year. But, you know, that's kind of the way life goes. You know, the older you get, faster time goes, I guess. Kids get bigger, friends get older, parents pass away. You know, it seems the older you get, the more people you know pass away. It's kind of the way life goes. But, yeah, anyways, today we're going to talk about America and the state of it and where we're at. As you saw in that opening video, that was the old head of ICE being asked why they released 20,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records back into the country. And then we lead to where we're at today. So let's get into it.
Like they just have to hold it a little more taut.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again for all the love and support. So as you saw there's protests breaking out in Minneapolis. That was a lot of people. News is probably going to tell us it wasn't as many as it is, but that was definitely a lot of people. They say 20,000, but that looked like more people than that could fit in that stadium in the background. So, you know, it's people are waking up. You know, it's a tragedy what happened. You know, another person was shot by an ICE agent. This guy had a gun on him, legally carrying. I didn't see him pull it out. The videos I showed, the ICE officers, like, unarmed him. And then they were beating him with the spray can and then shot him afterwards. Not really much defending that. So he's probably going to go to jail for that. He'll face charges, you know. ICE agents, they're just a different breed. You know, they're part of the American government, but they're like outsourced part of the American government. I think they said something like 40% or 60% are IDF soldiers or retired IDF soldiers, and they trained with IDF soldiers. IDF is Israeli Defense Fighters. That's who IDF is, in case you didn't know. But, you know, they just operate on a different set of laws and a different sort of insurgency, if that makes sense. You know, when you're trained by soldiers and military personnel, you're trained against foreign enemies. You're not trained on how to handle domestic problems, I guess, as much. You know, I guess police more are in tune for that with their riot gear and anti-riot everything. But there's consequences for actions. People will argue that he was impeding a federal investigation, which he probably was, but that doesn't give him. It's not just to die. Like, we can't be judge, jury, and executioner out on the street without due process. This is a country that's founded on laws, even if they don't have to follow the law. We have the whole Epstein thing, the fraud that's going around in the country. That's another thing. These protests and the focus on Minnesota is doesn't seem coincidental that it's right as Nick Shirley just discovered billions of dollars in fraud to these NGOs. And then that inspired local journalists and people doing podcasts to go around asking questions. And little do you know, there's fraud everywhere. It's a government system, a system that hands out money and it gets laundered in between all their little lobby pals and their NGOs and all the other stuff that they got going on. Like this, this is our American government, a government built on making money off of the backs of its citizens. We can protest for ICE, which is understandable. I assume they don't want them in their backyard shooting citizens and whatnot. But as we saw in that thing, the head of ICE herself released 20,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records. Not soft criminal records either. You heard them. So, it's a system. It's designed this way. It's done by design to keep you distracted, to keep you fighting, because now we'll have people fighting, the ones who thought it was justified versus the ones who thought it was unjustified. And as long as we're fighting amongst ourselves, they're sitting behind the doors collecting money. They're sitting behind the scenes laughing, celebrating, because their plan's working to divide us by anything possible. Anything you can imagine to divide us by. Race, gender, sexuality, religion. It doesn't matter. They want you separated by everything. Because the minute you realize that they don't care about any of that stuff, that they come together regardless of their races or religions or anything, they come together for one sole purpose, and that's strength. Their strength to continue to destroy us and destroy everything we work for. We go to work every day to support our families. We die out there. Blood, sweat, tears, death, we give it all just to try to provide for our families, for our kids, for the future, for America. Everybody's willing to work. Everybody is. But we want something to show for it. When is America going to work for Americans? Like, this immigration thing is a problem, and it's not just a problem here, it's a problem across the world. In the United States, they don't really show you everything. But the countries that are the most successful right now are the countries that don't really let anybody else in. Like, we let people in, but there's a process, and that process should be followed. Regardless of what you believe, I think everybody should believe that there is a process to be followed to get into this country, and that should be followed. It might separate me from a bunch of people because some people think that you should just be able to come here and that's it. Like, you could just come to America and all of a sudden they get our benefits, they get our houses, they get our lines in college that are meant for us. So at what point does Americans just say, hey, like, it's okay to be America first. It's okay to care about us. It's okay to enact policies that benefit us for once. Instead of flooding a country full of immigrants so that we can get votes, so that they can live off the government to expand our government even bigger than it is, when it's already failing at the size it is. So you want to make it bigger so that it fails at a bigger scale. This project of government was meant to keep the billionaires from doing exactly what they've done. Okay? They enact policies that benefit them, They buy a media that benefits them. And meanwhile, we just get fed slop on all levels, whether it's the policies they're doing or immigration laws are softening or financial laws, the SEC not doing their job on Wall Street. Like, they're running it like their own personal piggy bank up there. And that's our pensions. That's our 401ks that you decided to have us roll into and to let Wall Street gamble them on whatever they decide is what they think is best. And it's not. Because companies like BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, they own everything. So if we're going to protest, let's protest about real things. Let's protest about how the system is set up for them. When banks need a bailout, it's our money that bails out the banks. Yet when we relieve the banks, they just give liquidity to places like BlackRock for low interest, low to zero interest, as a matter of fact, to go buy up more assets. How does that work? All the government gets to take on is the debt, the interest debt. And that's where our money goes, towards interest. It doesn't even cover that anymore. It's $38 trillion in debt to who? The Federal Reserve? Who the fuck owns that? Where are they at? We want to protest. Let's storm that. They got 75% of the world's gold, and they create this fiat currency that we have to make policies to keep that fiat currency plausible in the world. And the world is looking at it like, hey, America's falling apart. They're just printing money out of nowhere. We're just giving the defense budget $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion. That money is unfathomable about. What even is a $1.5 trillion? What are they defending? We haven't defended anything at home in forever. Where was that defense at during 9/11? Where was that defense at during Pearl Harbor? Where was that defense at to protect the USS Liberty? Where was our national intelligence in Oklahoma City, in Boston, in Washington? They couldn't be held accountable for those mistakes, but we're going to give them more money? Makes sense? It's like the government is the only job in the world that you can have and suck at your fucking job and still have a job. I deliver pizzas for a living. If I don't get a delivery right or I mess up a pizza or something, I got to pay for that shit. If the government fucks up, what do they pay for? 9/11 happened. Who went to jail? Who went to jail? Larry Silverstein takes out an insurance policy shortly before 9/11 with the only terrorist clause in it in the United States. Settles for $4 billion because his building was attacked. He ate breakfast there every single day except for on 9/11. His kids were late on 9/11. Come on, bro. The insider trading that happened before 9/11. The military-industrial complex that exploded after 9/11. The Patriot Act that we got days after 9/11, like it was already pre-typed up. That was the catalyst. That was our alarm clock, and we just hit the snooze button. Because we were so angry and so ready for retaliation and so ready for revenge. 3,000 people died. Was it 3,000? 3,000 or more? It doesn't matter. Americans died on American soil in an attack that happened in America. Where was our defense? Trillions of dollars in defense. Where was it? Planes just get to fly all over America without being scrambled by jets, without a jet shooting it down? What the fuck? I thought this was America. I thought we had the biggest defense system in the world. Yet you allowed, quote unquote, Islamic hijackers to take over planes and fly them into buildings? First of all, I don't want to get too far sidetracked from the state of America today, but I kind of believe that it all centers back to this catalyst here, where we let the American government just grow out of control. The Patriot Act was built to basically make it so the Constitution didn't exist. As long as you used words like terrorism or terrorist or threat to national security. Well, what's really a threat to national security? If your national security is based on your interest, then anybody who argues the story that you feed us is basically a threat to national security, because we know what the fuck you're doing. We know it's a lie. We know it's all bullshit. Like everything else. These protests are not accident. They're manufactured. It happens to be in Minnesota when they just got caught with all this fraud, when other states are getting caught with all this fraud. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat. You guys are laundering the money. Let's face it. You're stealing our money. You have been for years, for decades. The generation before us was too blind to acknowledge that. And the generation before them was too loyal to question that. We're not blind anymore. We're not loyal to a system that doesn't benefit us. Being in America before used to be a dream. You could work as hard as you possibly could, and you could afford a house, and you could afford safety, and you could afford peace and stability. There's no stability in America anymore. There's no stability in working hard. You tore families apart. Made it so 2 people have to work now instead of 1. So we don't even get a chance to raise our kids in America because they're off to school for 8 hours a day. And then they come home and they got to eat, they got to do homework, they got to get ready, they got to bathe. Between all that time, they're on their phones, they're on TV. You're on your phone, you're watching TV. Are you really raising your kids? Or is society? School, their phones, the television. That's how America got to where it is. Immigration's a problem. People flooding in this country without due process is a problem. You have no idea who they are. Terrorists, rapists, drug dealers. That shouldn't be allowed. Period. Now, does ICE have the right to go knocking door to door to check citizenship? Fuck no, they don't. Fuck no. Not in any circumstance should they be able to do that. This is your fault for letting these people over here. So you should figure out a better process than questioning everybody walking down the street like you're racial profiling somebody. That's illegal in America. ICE agent or not, racial profiling is illegal. Profiling in general, under law enforcement, is illegal. This was your fuck up. This is your process to fix. We shouldn't have to have 50,000 people out there in sub-zero temperatures to tell you that this is not okay. But I'm proud of them for doing that, because this is not okay. This whole system is not okay. It's not okay for police to shoot people. It's not okay for federal agents to shoot people. It's not okay for ICE agents to shoot people. It's not okay to bomb innocent people across the world. It's not okay to kill people based on what you think. That's not okay. We're supposed to live by law. This isn't supposed to be the jungle. If this was a jungle, we would come take that 75% of the world's gold from the Federal Reserve. Just saying. Just saying. If we're going to operate under the law of the jungle, you don't want that. Because the gorillas own the jungle. America has to do better. And we have to do better at calling them out. Call your congressmen. Call your senators. Don't think that your voice doesn't matter, because it does. Show up. Throw fits. We have to. Our voices have to be heard now, or this problem's going to get worse, and it's never going to get better. Kind of veered off course there, but let's go through the rest of the news happening. Okay, we got a storm that covered most of the U.S. It was a nasty one. It was cold and a lot of snow, a lot of ice. People are hopefully surviving out there. You know, there's a lot of homeless people in Grand Rapids, so I don't know how they deal with it. We are trying to buy Greenland, they say. I don't know about that. You can fucking buy a country, but we can't fix our country, you know. I get the whole defense issue and, you know, Monroe Doctrine. This is an old 1900, 1890s philosophy that basically the Western Hemisphere belongs to the West. And with technology and weapons the way they are today, I understand that philosophy. I don't think that military is our answer to taking over Greenland, for crying out loud. So let's just keep our bullets in the chambers, okay? Spend the money that you print. Since you can print money, just go print enough to fucking buy it instead of killing anybody else, you know? American currency is dropping, though, so this is why places like Venezuela and Iran and stuff like that come up in American news. We're going to cover international news probably in a couple episodes. I care about it, but I really don't, because it leads down places you don't want to go. It leads you to wanting to blame people and see where it all started, you know. And this is a grand chessboard that's been going on for centuries, and people are just now having access to it to be able to wake up and realize what's happening. You know, America's a beautiful place. I mean, you know, we like to do great things. We like to celebrate holidays with our families. We like to be able to go to the park. We like to be able to have our kids just go outside and feel safe. We like to be able to work and keep what we work for. But we haven't been able to do that in a while. And, you know, America just needs to wake up. This isn't the glossy, soft-covered blanket that we always thought it was, because they've lied to us for years. And the veil is lifting all over. The fraud, the immigration, the laws, the bias, the media. We notice. And it's time that we do something about it. You know, I appreciate you guys so much. I love interacting with you. I love being here for you. I love being able to give my opinions on things. Thank you for all the love, the support. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, you know, just message me, email me, comment, anything we want to talk about. I'm open to anything. Like I said, I go on a rant there. This was supposed to be about American news, and one story just it gets sideways real fast because my opinions are strong. I've watched a lot happen over my 40 years of living, and I'm kind of just tired of the state that we're going in. You know, hopefully my voice gets out. Hopefully you guys feel the same. Like, share, comment, subscribe, tell people to visit. Tell us their stories. If you know something and you want something out there, tell us. If you want to go over something, you know, I'm here. Always. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you guys next time.
Say why America is the greatest country in the world.
Diversity and opportunity.
Lewis?
Freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way.
Will?
The New York Jets.
No, I'm going to hold you to an answer on that. What makes America the greatest country in the world?
Well, our Constitution is a masterpiece. James Madison was a genius. The Declaration of Independence is, for me, the single greatest piece of American writing.
One's a set of laws and the other's a declaration of war. I want a human moment from you. What about the people? Why is America
not the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer.
You're saying...
Yes. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so fucking smart, how come they lose so goddamn always?
Hey.
And with a straight face, you're going to tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain,
Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl.
Just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day,
There's some things you should know, and one of them is there is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy sports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? Sure used to be.